All right, so we talked about this a little bit on Monday and on Friday, but St. Louis Alderwoman Lyda Crewson has introduced Board Bill number 195. Now, you know she's running for mayor in a crowded field, and I guess she felt like she needed something to set herself apart. So she has set her eyes on what she refers to as assault weapons. And her bill says to further the city's compelling interest of preventing mass shootings and loss of life caused by assault weapons. And she goes through to mention the shootings of people in a dance club in Orlando, Florida. And then she starts defining what these assault weapons are. And quite frankly, she's not just talking about these evil-looking military-style weapons that have to be black, which we refer to as AR-15s, and obviously the fully automatic version of the military is different than M16. That's kind of what she goes through this bill describing. But she's also talking about handguns. She describes semi-automatic handguns that have the ability to hold a magazine with more than 5 rounds. I think, frankly, every semi-automatic handgun I have would be banned by this bill. That's how broad this bill is that the city of St. Louis will consider and may very well pass in a body that hasn't had a Republican face in it for years. So my question was, can they get away with this? I wanted to know, how does this conflict, or does it conflict with state law regarding weapons? And I have found the perfect person to explain this to us, and that is Missouri State Representative Eric Burlison from District 136. Eric, how are you, sir?
Good.
Well,
just to clarify, since redistricting, it's District 133.
Oh, I'm sorry. Your Missouri House of Representatives has it wrong.
Yeah.
You're going to have to get on them. Well, good. Well, so thank you very much for giving us some time today. You and I spoke on the phone a little bit about this earlier, and I've gotten a few emails about it. People are wondering, can the city of St. Louis really do this? Because under this law, if it was to pass, you would have about 60 days to turn in your guns, and after that, you would face 90 days in jail and a $500 fine. So a lot of law-abiding Missouri citizens would become outlaws if this thing actually passed the Board of Aldermen in the city of St. Louis and got signed by the mayor.
Right, including, let's say our grandparents, my grandfather, grandparents, if you have a grandparents that brought home with them a relic from the World War II or from the Korean War or Vietnam War, those would unless they've got some specific exemption, which I don't believe she does, and she would basically be making our grandparents who are veterans a criminal unless they give up their firearms. And a lot of this. But at the end of the day, this is all just theater. She has no authority, thank God, to take away people's Second Amendment rights in this regard as an alderwoman,
right,
or even as the mayor.
Even as the mayor, right?
Yeah, first of all, she does have the authority because the Missouri statutes don't give them the authority. Missouri Rights Statute Section 21.750 makes it very clear. It says the General Assembly hereby occupies and preempts the entire field of legislation touching in any way firearms, components, ammunition, and supplies to the complete exclusion of any order, ordinance, or regulation by any political subdivision of this state. Any existing or future orders, ordinances, or regulations in this field are hereby and shall be null and void except as provided in subsection 3. And subsection 3 of that section is basically allowing municipalities the ability to prohibit open the open carrying of firearms. So they can regulate the open carrying of firearms, but that's it.
Right.
And to get further in the weeds, is that in Section 571 of the Missouri statutes under the concealed carry permit section, if a citizen gets a concealed carry permit, then that permit allows them to trump, if you will, any local ordinances regulating open carry. So that's the only thing that a local municipality can do. The only thing they can do is prohibit a citizen who does not have a concealed carry permit from openly carrying. They can't prohibit a citizen from any citizen from carrying concealed.
Yeah.
Now the Senate Bill 656 is passed.
Yeah, I thought it was interesting, and I want to follow up. We're talking to Representative Eric Burlison here from District 133. What she goes into details in this bill about is that the rights secured by the Second Amendment are not unlimited and do not create an entitlement or right to keep and carry any weapon whatsoever in any manner whatsoever for whatever purpose. So she very much tries to direct this argument to the Second Amendment.
Right.
But in the state of
declare.
No, go ahead.
Go ahead. Yeah, I mean that's her opinion. And that's her opinion, but the truth is, I think goodness is the truth, she has no authority as the mayor or as an alderwoman to regulate firearms in any way other than to prohibit or to regulate open carrying of firearms.
When we talked earlier, Eric, you described to me something that made a lot of sense to me the way you described it, and I'd like you to describe it to my listeners the same way, that the way state government's set up in Missouri is a little different than it was in the original 13 colonies, and therefore it's not the cities that can tell the state what to do. It's the state building the sandbox, and the cities are just playing in it, correct?
Right. Missouri is not like one of the 13 original colonies. Those colonies, and like you said before, is that, for example, Baltimore and other cities in Maryland, it's a commonwealth because those cities formed together to create the state of Maryland. But Missouri is not that way. The cities get their authority under the Missouri statute. So they can only do what the state gives them the authority to do. And basically, we create the sandbox for which they can play in. And in this case, this is not an area of which she has sand to play with. So I really think what she's doing is nothing more than a political gesture. This is a public gesture, and she's getting the press that she's probably wanting to get, which is earned media, so that she can separate herself from the rest of the pack.
Yeah, it's a good point. Assuming that this actually got to a vote and the current mayor actually signed it, what would happen then? Would somebody just have to challenge it in court, and then a Missouri state court would inform them what you've done here is not allowed under the Constitution?
Yeah, I believe that it would. If they tried to prosecute anyone with that statute, then it would be easily thrown out.
Yeah,
or either that, or an attorney general could write a decision, because you can request that the state attorney general give an opinion, and so the state attorney general would probably, and our incoming attorney general Hawley would probably be
proactive,
excited to give it. Would probably be excited to give an opinion stating her errancy in doing this.
Yeah, I'm sure Josh Hawley would probably be all over that. Well, I tell you what, Eric Burlison, thank you so much for your insight on this, and hopefully we put some people's minds at rest that even if they were to get together and try to pass this legislation, that it wouldn't make it very far against our own state laws.
Yeah, and if anybody has any questions about the new concealed carry statutes and the details of that, I posted a video on my Facebook page. People are welcome to go and watch. So check that out. It kind of does answers a lot of the frequently asked questions about the new what Missouri laws are today in relation to the new constitutional carry.
And whether or not you can carry without a license anywhere, you can open carry, and then it's the additional consideration that you could get a lifetime license if you wanted to, correct?
Right, and then also we were able to pass a measure that is commonly known as stand your ground.
Right.
So basically, what it means is that you don't have to, if in the unfortunate event that you end up having to use lethal force to defend yourself, then you won't have to prove to a prosecuting attorney that you exhausted all means of escaping the situation first before you had to use deadly force.
Very good.
So all of those are in Senate Bill 656, which I sponsored and carried, along with Senator Brian Muslinger. And if you want to learn more about it, go to my Facebook page, and I have YouTube videos that explain the details of those bills.
Eric Burlison, thank you, and listen, happy Thanksgiving to you and your family.
You too, Mark. Thanks
All right.
for calling.
Yep. Thank you very much. Take care of yourself. If you're going to look for him on Facebook, it is Eric, ERIC, Burlison, Burlison. He's from District 133 down in Springfield, and one of the people that wrote this new concealed carry law, and he understands Missouri state statutes when it comes to what cities can and can't do. And he says that this Board Bill 195 isn't worth the paper that I probably printed it on today because it's not legal. She can't do that.